It was the first murder I'd ever covered. Back in 1977, I'd been police reporter of the Augusta Chronicle for about a month, and so far things had been relatively quiet. But that all changed with a violent double homicide that 40 years later remains unsolved. On the morning of November 9th, 1977, something came out of the fog and killed two people in their Aiken County home. Decades later, we don't know who, and we're really not sure why, but we do know that it was violent. Grover Cleveland Sailors, a Savannah River plant welder, and his wife Gwendolyn. That morning, they had just finished breakfast. The dishes had been washed and were drying beside the sink. But somebody else got inside the house. For years, detectives speculated it was a hitchhiker who had climbed up the hill from I-20, jumped the fence, and then got inside looking for someone to rob. They found footprints. They said, measuring the stride, he would have been about 6 feet tall. Aiken County Sheriff Paul Grant told me they weren't sure how the killer got inside the house. Maybe through the sliding glass door at the back, maybe through the kitchen door. But he had a gun, and there was evidence of a struggle. It also appeared that the couple, both in their early 50s, might have been beaten and then marched into a small bedroom where they were shot 4 times each. Like I said, I'd never been to a crime scene before. And back in those days, before crime scene tape became so restrictive and prevalent, and back in those days when the high-tech forensics perhaps didn't exist, they let me come in. That's where I saw the breakfast dishes all cleaned and drying. That's where I saw a clock that had fallen off a mantel, stopped at 7:03. And that's where I saw the blood spatter on the walls of a middle bedroom. And then there was the dog. 20 yards from the house was a good-sized doghouse with a good-sized German Shepherd chained outside. His name was Rick. Rick was known to bark if anyone came nearby, neighbors told me. That morning, no one heard barking. For years, we've asked police if they have any breaks. And for years, they've told us no. Just last fall, we asked again, and we're told the case remains open. That's what they've told us for years. At the time, they had a vague description, although they were mysterious about how they got it. They had bloodhounds tracking the area. They combed through the couple's bank records looking for clues. They even investigated family members. Nothing ever turned up. Everyone checked had an alibi. Police told me that Sailors had a gun, but they had found it in a drawer in the bedroom, unfired. What we're left with, almost 4 decades later, is a double homicide with no suspects, and a case as cold as a November fog. I don't think they'll ever solve it.